The answer is not far-fetched. The answer lies in our willingness and ability to pay the sacrifice or the price required to succeed. Everything in life has a price tag. Everything. That something is free does not make it cheap. Salvation, for example, is free. But who told you that salvation is cheap? The salvation that you and I are enjoying today freely cost God's own Son, the ultimate sacrifice. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. He gave. That gave simply means he gave him up as a sacrifice. He came to this world to lay down his own life. He said, I laid down my life by myself and died for the entire world. I accept you as my Lord and Savior, come into my life. Oh, it's so free, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap. Any level a man has not entered is a level a man has not sacrificed for. Now, and please get it clearly, the bridge between where you are now and the next place God is taking you to is sacrifice. Whatever you are not ready to sacrifice for, section of. Sacrifice is the difference maker. Sacrifice is a yoke breaker. Sacrifice makes all the difference. Sacrifice is a plague stopper. Sacrifice is a key to conquest. All these are proven in the scriptures. Sacrifice power that opens you up to a new chapter. And again I say, any level a man is not ready to sacrifice for is a level a man is not ready to step into. What you are not ready to sacrifice for is what you are not ready to take possession of. Nothing great comes easily. Please take note of that. Nothing great comes cheaply in life. Nothing great comes easily. If you are not ready to make the sacrifice, you are not ready to move from the point where you are. The key to divine movement is sacrifice. That's why David discovered in chapter 13 when they went to pick the ark of the covenant. And you know what happened with Uzzah when Uzzah died. When David went back to research, he discovered the proper way to carry the ark and not lose anybody's life. So in chapter 15, 1 Chronicles, they went back to pick the ark from the house of Obed-Edom. And they discovered, number one, that the ark must be carried by Levites. Number two, that the priest. Number two, the ark must be carried. Number three, every six steps they take, there must be a sacrifice. Every 6 steps, there must be sacrifice. Every 6 steps they take, there must be sacrifice. Sacrifice is the key step that takes a man into another level. Hard work is good, but believe you me, there are things that make hard work to yield. If there is no sacrifice, hard work becomes hard life. They will sacrifice hard work becoming working hard. because it comes with favor. There is no value. That value. I've seen people being taken, a young man was taken to an institution. People get in there with 750,000 for his coach. It's a football institute. Now, this boy was taken there and then given a kind of scholarship. In 3 months, he is back. He's 3 months. In 3 months, he misbehaved. They sent him packing. And you know why that could happen? Because he did not pay a dime. His family did not sell a plot of land. He got there cheaply. So he did not know. When you get things so cheap, you lose them so easily. Because you value. That you got it so free does not mean it is cheap. That's one of the things that baffles me with this. You may not know. Some people can just play with their time and play with their lives. Play with their lives. Naira. Yet, as cheap as that sounded to you, now people are paying 50 something. How much is WAEC fees now? I told you. 59. 131 naira. It's not enough to even buy an egg. Now. So can you imagine? 131 naira. Every morning I want to go and sell pap. How do I want to feed that WAEC? But see, some of you don't even know the sacrifice that it took your parents to gather 59,000 naira to pay for what yet you will not even read, you will not even study. Because you don't even know you don't know what it cost them. Some of you don't know that your father had to actually apply for loan that he will pay for 2 years, that has reduced his salary. People don't know. Maybe his salary every month is 70,000, but because of the loan he took, he has already taken a loan to pay for house rent, then another salary advance. Now at the end of the day, his take home now will not be 18,000 naira. Inside that 18,000 naira, there will still be food every month. But you don't know. And then you be carrying one big phone. And your papa said when they pray for the thing, he's carrying torchlight phone. I'm talking about sacrifice. Because when you don't know the worth of a thing, you will think that thing is cheap. That is free does not mean it's cheap. So every time somebody offers you something freely, that is even when you should appreciate it more. Because you know somebody's blood for you to get it free. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. Don't look down on anything come to you freely. Somebody took the pain so that you will not go through that pain. That's why you can enjoy it freely. Am I making sense to you this morning? You can measure a man's desire for success by his willingness to pay the sacrifice attached to what he desires. What a man's willingness, sacrifice is what shows a man's desire to succeed. Your willingness to sacrifice for something shows your desire to succeed over that thing. I'm speaking on. How to activate a new chapter for your life and destiny. So if you desire to open that level, a new dimension, then you must understand that behind every glory is a story of sacrifice. Behind every glory is a story full of sacrifice. Don't ever, I'm going to say it again, commonize free things. Because free things are not cheap. The value of life is in the sacrifice. So if you don't value where you are going, you will not sacrifice for it. If you don't value your life, you will not sacrifice for it. Anything you value, you make sacrifice for. Is that clear? That is very important. The birth of anything that is great will show in the sacrifice paid to achieve it. Of anything that is great will show in the sacrifice that is paid to achieve it. Check right now. What are the things you are making sacrifices for? What are the things you are paying sacrifice towards? Then, that is something you are getting ready to achieve success over. But if you look very well and there's nothing you are making sacrifice for, then nothing you are getting ready to achieve. You must know the difference between sacrifice and suffering. Many times I must explain to you and let you know. What many of your friends, of your folks, call suffering might be the sacrifice you need to pay for success to come. And hear this. If you dodge it, you will end up suffering. You hear what I said? The antidote to suffering is sacrifice. The medicine that cures suffering in the future is sacrifice in the present. Because when suffering is eliminated, success is enjoyed. But the only thing that will make suffering to be eliminated is sacrifice in the present. But when you now dodge your sacrifice in the present, thinking it's suffering, you will now end up in suffering in the future. Does that make sense to you? That's why in fact, this scripture verse, there's no day I don't remember it. 1 Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32. It's one of my favorites. Out of about 10 scriptures. The sons of Issachar were men that had understanding of the time to know what Israel ought to do. If it's your time to pay your sacrifice, and then you want to turn it to your time of enjoyment. Yeah. Time of enjoyment. Yeah. No problem, you will enjoy, but you will end up suffering. Sacrifice. And you must identify the areas in which you have to sacrifice. You must identify. In sacrificing, you must be ready to delay gratification. You must be ready to development. It's sacrifice. It's sacrifice. Prize. P-R-I-C-E. To win the prize. P-R-I-Z-E. If you don't pay the price today, you won't win the prize tomorrow. Sacrifice is paying the price. Paying the price. You're a student. You don't want to read. You want to party all week. Imagine Monday, night party. Tuesday, nightclub. Wednesday, night party. Thursday, birthday party. Friday, with their studies. Monday, they are at the lecture hall. One village somewhere, you will just die there. You will die. You will die. Nobody will remember you for the rest of life. You will not. They will even know that you passed through one street. Not to talk of a generation. Please let nobody deceive you. Sacrifice pays. Men who go mountain wait upon the Lord for days and for weeks. God severally will instruct people, wait upon me. Some will tell you now that fasting is legalism. Why should church tell you to fast? Why should church tell you to fast? It's legalistic practice. Oga lawyer, I hear you. You will have said it 30 years ago. We will have listened. But you are saying it now. After you have fasted, it will work for you. Prayed, it will work for you. Chop Holy Communion, it will work for you. Water baptism, it will work for you. Tithe, it will work for you. Have you never tell your neighbor? Otherwise, it will be the sacrifice. Tell your neighbor, sacrifice, oh. Otherwise, you will be the sacrifice. Anything you can't sacrifice for becomes a sacrifice. If you can't sacrifice for your job will become a sacrifice. It goes. Anything you cannot sacrifice for, it becomes a sacrifice. You lose it. You don't retain sacrifice, you lose sacrifice. Sacrifice is something that goes away from you. That sacrifice, it goes away from you. You don't sacrifice something and retain it. Yorubas will say that if you give ram to masquerade, you will leave the rope. You will say masquerade, take a shrine, a masquerade, take my sacrifice, so, and then you are still holding the rope. You are still holding the rope. He's holding the ram, but you are holding the rope. No, why you give ram to the masquerade? You will also do what? You will leave the rope. You live in will never know you more than your level of sacrifice. Sacrifice is what breaks the lead over a man. You want your destiny to become celebrated, sacrifice for it. You want to change your story to glory, sacrifice for it. Hear this. Whatever you don't have is what you have not paid the price. It is what you have not sacrificed for. Anything achieving, anything worth having, anything worth possessing, then it's worth sacrificing for. Lord, move me to another level. Oh, it cost God nothing. But it cost you sacrifice. You know why it cost God nothing? Because God has already sacrificed for anything and everything he will give you. It costs you sacrifice. So it is the size of your dream. Hear this and don't miss it. Just have about 3 or 4 minutes more. It is the size of your dream, the size of your vision. You may not even sacrifice for it. Because it is the size of your dream, of your vision, and of your future that determines the size of your sacrifice. Please take this clearly from me. Sacrifice is essential to move into your next level. And don't mistake sacrifice for suffering. The other day we were watching we were reading the interview of the son of I know the man, you know. And people knew him as Coconut Prophet back then. So the son said it that every time hear this, every time they are on school to Mountain is our own place of vacation. Today, the person talking today, he's living in America, raising his own children. So one day his daughter came back, and then the daughter went for interview and went to interview and for a job, and then mentioned the name. So person mentioned the father's name. He said, "Is he the same prophet in Nigeria?" He said, "Yes." "That's your grandfather?" He said, "Yes." He said, "That your grandfather is a great man." So the doctor came back and then told him and said, he said, "That name you see things." You understand? So I was telling her with Gary and coconut. This man has eaten coconut so much. I said, they know him, Prophet S.K. Abiara, as Coconut Prophet. Gary and coconut. He can take Gary and coconut for a whole 1 year. Sacrifice. You hear what I'm saying? Sacrifice. So he was telling his own daughter now, because she does not know, mentioning that name open door for them. He can do it for me, but he did not want to do it for me. Have you sacrificed to worth that person? Both have that entitlement mentality. Sacrifice. 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 Giving is sacrifice. Pastor Joe gave an example one of these days, the other day. You are sitting with, yes, a rich man who you expect to do something for you, and you're driving by the roadside, and you need water to drink, or you need a handkerchief. And then you wind down, bring water 200 naira, one handkerchief 250. And then you are expecting him to still collect the money. You can't sacrifice 200 naira. Maybe that 200 is your transport. Maybe when he will drop you, sacrifice that 200 and say, let me buy this water from my own pocket for this order. He has the money. You don't understand when the only sound that their door makes, like they say in Yoruba land, is moi. That means